scoring. Yeah, put numbers on the board.
All the way to the hoop.
Oh my, that's what I'm talking about.
Regardless of how we're playing, it's my job to lead and come out and compete every night.
Beal continues to do his thing.
Welcome in to The Real Deal, Bradley Beal. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
We had to have you on when I heard you were working with this project. This is ESPN's The Undefeated, the Obama Foundation, and the NBA collaborating on a speaker series to support My Brother's Keeper initiative. This is a program that we've talked about a bunch on this show, mentoring underserved young black men. It is fantastic. And the On and Off the Court speaker series, hosted by our friend Mark Spears, leading conversations with players from the Wizards, the Nets, the Knicks, the Lakers, the Clippers. Brad, how important is it for you to mentor young men and women? Because we were just talking off the air. You've got a game every other night. Why is this something you are still making time for in your life?
Oh, for sure. You guys know, like Perk and VC, like we're more than just basketball players, and we have the greatest platform, and to be able to make an impact to those who look up to us, whether we like it or not. And for me, I always take pride in that and take pride in the community that I came from, and understanding that I still have family and friends who still endure in those communities. And it's important for me to just show that, you know, that there are ways, that there are possibilities as a black man to succeed in this world outside of just sports and outside of basketball. And so what Mark Spears is doing and what everybody's doing, My Brother's Keeper in itself, is just providing a tremendous foundation for these young black men to be able to just get a level up in life, you know, whether it's in the education realm, financial, just trying to learn about what their next career path may be. So it does everything to just try to help these black men get an advantage in life. And I take pride in the youth because they're the future. And they have a lot of feeling, a lot of emotion that they need to get out and express. And so, you know, I think the talk that we'll have today is going to be very lucrative, and I can't wait for it.
So important. And, you know, I'm a D.C. area girl, so I hear about all the things going on in the community, and the work you've done the last few years with the Ron Brown College Prep High School in D.C. has been so important. What else can you tell people not from the area about what you've been doing?
It's just so much. Ron Brown in itself, that college prep school, I take pride in it because I went to a college prep school in St. Louis, but it was in a totally different demographic. I went to a predominantly all-white school, and Ron Brown's in the heart of the hood in D.C., and it's all black males. And so I went to all-boys school. This is an all-boys school. And so I kind of had that relationship. You know, I had that understanding of what it was like to be in that environment. And so I just embraced those young men. I embraced the coaches, the principals, the staff. When we could, I went and visited the school. We had a huge, just open mic convo. And I had two panelists with me as well, a police officer, a lieutenant, and a financial guru of mine, Nasir Qadri, who's excellent. And so we just really just sat down and just tried to give these young men the opportunity to just express themselves, what are their struggles, you know, because they're living it, they're enduring it. And, you know, us as athletes, we have this platform to be able to make an impact and be able to share some light and inspiration to these kids. And, you know, whether, like I said before, whether we like it or not, you know, we're put into this position to be able to be impactful. And I just try to utilize it as best as I can.
Well, it certainly shows in everything you do. I do want to take it back over to the basketball court. Now, here at The Jump, we have all these little shows within a show, right? As the Kings turn for Sacramento, Bays of Our Lives for the guys in the Bay, the Golden State Warriors. And we have created a special show within a show dedicated to your Wizards. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but take a look here.
This is the true story.
True story.
Of 17 strangers
Picked to play on a team.
We're all adults.
Work together.
I can't do you guys' job. You guys can't do my job.
And have their lives taped.
It's frustrating.
Find out what happens
when people stop being polite.
And start getting Beal.
Oh, I know, dog.
The Beal world.
DC.
It's Bradley Beal's world. We're just living in it. I want to know what you think of your show, and also how is G Wiz as a roommate, because he looks a little.
I've seen it a couple of times. I laugh every time I see it, though. I love it, man, because it's. I love the facial expressions. I love my body language. I love all of it. Because I've always been taught to embrace every situation, every moment, in your career and what you're going through, because you need all of it for growth. And I can definitely say that this year has been a testament to that. We kind of had two different seasons. At the beginning of the year, everyone wrote us off like this. This is a wash. There's no way that this team, should be playing the way they are, but they're just not good. And we can make every excuse in the world. COVID hit us. Thomas Bryant got injured earlier in the year. Training camp was crazy. This year in itself is a weird year. So we got a whole list of excuses, but we turned it around. And, we're starting to figure it out. We're playing well, playing confidently. And it's definitely, it's always funny seeing that because, all my body language says, I just want to win. I just want to win and compete at the highest level. And we do that night in and night out, and we're starting to figure it out.
I love that whole little intro because it shows you guys together, and it's sort of what makes a team, right? A bunch of different guys coming from different places with different attitudes and skill sets and histories. And there you are. You guys are getting real, or getting Beal, as the show says, and putting it all together. Vince, I know you had something for Brad.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about it, but can you talk about, the postponements, your frustrations you were dropping 40 balls after 40 balls and your team not winning. And you just said, you guys want to win. You just want to win. And it's frustrating when you do everything you can for your team and not getting the result. How were you able to get yourself out of it? And how was your team able to get themselves out of it to play the brand of basketball that you guys are playing right now?
I credit that all to mental toughness, honestly. Just being able to understand that what you're doing may be unique. Yeah, you may be putting up 30s, 40s, crazy numbers, but you're still not winning, which is the ultimate goal. And so obviously, I look at my play as an individual and it's like, okay, how else can I impact the team? How else can I be better? And you still want to continue to do that. You still want to lead by example because your teammates look up to that. Like it took me a long time to understand that and realize that, because I feel like we're all individuals, we're all men, we all got to get ready to go. But sometimes when you're that guy, you're a franchise player, your teammates look up to you for energy, for confidence, for motivation. And it took a lot for me to understand that sometimes my body language may hurt that. And I try to correct that and I try to be positive. And like you said, I just have to continue to do what I'm doing and continue to push and guys will follow along eventually. And we've been doing that. And so the biggest thing is just staying the course, being mentally tough and being confident, trusting your game, trusting your work ethic, and the results will come eventually.
Yeah, Brad, man.
Kudos to you for recognizing that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Brad, first before I ask my question, all right, I just want to tell you how proud I am of you for what you're doing in the community. I love the way that you're a leader outside of basketball. That makes me very proud, brother. So I just wanted to tell you that. But, you got a lot of familiar faces over there that are my family that, especially like on your coaching staff with Coach Scott Brooks, Coach Robert Pack, Coach Turt, Coach Longo, who I used to call Too Short, that I won a championship with. And then you have one of my good friends and a guy I went to war with also in Russell Westbrook. And I know a lot of people don't understand Russ, but I want you to tell the world what it's like going to war with a guy like Russell Westbrook night in and night out, and how you feel about him.
It's so crazy from the time of the summer to, when the trade happened at the beginning of the year. Everybody has this misconception of Russ. Everybody's like, how? Sorry,
oh, please.
Everybody's like, how? Sorry. So everybody has this misconception of Russ of, he's a bad teammate. He doesn't get along with coaches. He's a selfish player. He only cares about himself and his numbers and but when he got here, it was the complete opposite, and he loves his teammates. He's all about his teammates. He's all about team. He's all about winning. And so I love that about him off the rip. But the biggest thing that I've gained from him, and I think we've all gained from him, is his mental approach to the game and how he brings it every single night. And so being a guy who played against him and competed against him when he was in OKC, like, I didn't understand how he was getting these triple doubles every night. It was mind boggling. Like, initially I'm like, I didn't believe it. I'm like, maybe Steven just boxing everybody out and just letting them come in to get rebounds. Right. And so, but to see him do it on our team, it's like, no, he's in the trenches. He's actually fighting in there. He's grabbing rebounds. He's pushing the ball. He's making plays for guys. And he can really care less about scoring. Like, and the biggest thing, he wants everybody to get better. He wants everybody to do well. And it doesn't matter who's on the floor with you. We can bring up 3 guys from the G League, and he's going to expect you to play like he expects you to play. And he's going to hold you to that same level of mentality that he holds himself to. And I think that's what helped me in my play and my individual approach to the game this year, because I had a guy who tells me every single moment of the game, keep going, B, keep going, B. He's in my ear every second. And that's motivative because he's an MVP. And I sit down, I shut up, and I listen whenever he speaks.
Well, he is playing lights out right now. You have been playing lights out all season, and you guys together have gotten Washington into the 10th spot, which would put you into the play-in if the season ended today. So I got to ask, Brad, how dangerous do you think your team would be if indeed you got into this play-in tournament?
We're confident in ourselves, obviously. We hate that we're in the position we're in right now. We feel like we should be comfortable in the playoffs. But obviously, we fought to be in a position that we're in now, and hopefully we still can be able to make a run here with these last 11 games and move up a little bit more if possible. But ultimately, I think it can get scary. We're really playing really well right now. We're healthy, and I think that's the biggest thing. We're healthy. We got all the COVID scares out of, all that's done. We're past that. We have our guys healthy. We added Daniel Gafford, who's been tremendous for us. Burton has been shooting lights out. Russ has been playing his best basketball. I'm starting to figure out my rhythm again. So we're flowing. We're flowing. And, we obviously still have a lot of room to grow and still got a lot of, work to do. We gave up a tough one last night. But, we're still fighting and clawing. We're right there for sure.
Well, it's been so much fun to watch. We can't wait to see what else you do. Thank you so much for being here today. Thanks to your 2 adorable children who we've been hearing in the background and running around. I love that we get to be at home with players. That's one of the nice things about this sort of era that we're in right now. It's really Oh, yes, the MVP of MSG joining the jump. Welcome in Knicks All-Star Julius Randle. So thrilled to have you and your son Kaiden on the show. Uh-oh. He's frozen. He's frozen in time. There we go. We got you.
Hold on, it's bad. I can't.
You were allowed to have any connection problems that you want. That man is allowed to have any connection problems he wants after the way he has played this season. We'll get him back in just a minute, but I want to have you guys talk about him behind his back until he gets back with us. Vince, what has impressed you most about the way Julius Randle has played this year?
Just his overall improvement. I think Tibbs has instilled in him leadership and confidence. And, we talked last week and I asked him about the same thing. I said, what has it been? What has it done for you? He just said his work ethic and his commitment and the opportunity to be the leader of this team and the team working together at night when they get on the road, they're bonding. But he said mostly he's used to the team, him going to the gym late at night. Now they all are going in there, working together and getting shots up. And it translates. It translates on the court. Guys trust each other. They understand who he is, what he brings to the table, and the attention to detail to get better as a player individually. But I tell you what, they understand they're there for him when he gets double teamed. He demands double teams now, and he's making the right plays. And it's, like I said, it's infectious.
Julius, we're talking about you. I don't know if you heard that from Vince Carter.
Am I good?
You are good, sir. I don't know if you could hear Vince Carter bragging on you there for a minute.
I hear you, Vince. I appreciate it.
We heard those MVP chants from the MSG faithful when we brought you in. What is it like to hear that after the career that you have had so far, all of the ups and downs, and the work that you have put in to have to get to that point?
It's just a process. For me, it's really about enjoying that process, enjoying the grind. For me, that's really what it is. I enjoy the process of getting better. I look forward to the summers and putting the work in, getting better. So for me, I'm just seeing those results and just having fun with it.
Vince Carter just talking about your late night workouts in the gym. I was told that those came from a conversation with Kobe Bryant. Is that the case?
Oh, say it again. I couldn't hear you.
Vince was just talking about the late night workouts you do after you land in the city. Sometimes when you're going to play an away game, you still go out to the gym and you work out the night before. I was told those came from a conversation with Kobe Bryant. Is that true?
Yeah, it came from a combo with Kobe. Honestly, one of the gems that I picked up from him. I was, going back home and, instead of going hang out with my family, he was like, come work out with me. And that's kind of one of those things where I picked that up from him. One of the things I really try to pass on to my teammates as far as just, the work ethic, every detail of, going to extreme conditions, whatever it takes to get better. So, I always pride myself in my work ethic. I learned from, the greatest ever in my eyes as far as work ethic and what it takes. So, I just try to do my best to emulate it.
We also see Kaiden there in the frame with you. He has become an internet sensation. He's 4 years old. I don't know if he knows how famous he is. His reaction to that loss you guys had against the Nets, his presence at games, the way he cheers for you and is so invested in the team. I need to know, Julius, what is it like living with such a big celebrity in your house?
He can't hear you, but he's waving, so he must know you're talking about him. But it's amazing. He doesn't really, I guess, understand it. He's just really being him, which makes it even more funny. But come on, I got it, baby. It's okay. But it's just Kaiden. He loves the game of basketball. I don't know who I was. I think I was telling you the other day, Vince. We struggle, getting him to do his schoolwork and his ABCs and all that type of stuff. But he'll know every single player, every single team. If somebody's not playing, what's going on. So, RJ wasn't warming up yesterday, and my wife was telling me, he's asking, "Where's RJ? Why isn't RJ warming up?" So he's very interested and invested in the game, and as a dad, it's fun.
Julius, Big Perk here, and my boy Tyler getting that work in this summer. I'm not surprised of what you're doing because I follow you and I know how hard you work. But look, I got to ask you about my boy Tibbs, okay? Tom Thibodeau. I know he used to have me in the locker room in the gym early at 6 in the morning watching film on VCR tapes. I just want to know the effect that Tibbs has had on you as a player, as far as your development on the defensive side of things and on the offensive side of things, and as a player overall on how you approach the game now.
Tibbs is amazing. And by the way, Perk, I want to say appreciate it, man. You've been showing me love from day one, man. So I want to say appreciate that. But Tibbs, man, he's amazing. I think me and him really hit it off just because from the beginning I saw how serious he took his craft, and he saw how serious I took the craft. And hold on, Poppy. And from that point on, we kind of really took a liking to each other. Okay. Sit right here. You say you want to be the star of the show. But,
I love it. I want more Kaiden, Julius. More Kaiden. Keep going.
But from that point on, we both took a liking to each other. I call Tibbs the beast, man, because everything we do, he's so detailed. No matter what it is, for practice, to shoot around, very detailed. He don't miss anything. From or film, whatever it is, like he's on point with everything. And I love that because every game that we play, we feel like we're prepared as if it's a playoff game. You know, we're ready for whatever the team is about to do. We know what we have to do. And we come in the games, every game super prepared. So, you know, Tibbs is amazing, man. I love playing for him. I love competing with him. There's no other coach I ever want to go to war with, man. I love him.
And Jules, we talked about this last week, but I thought what you said, your response was fantastic, and I wanted the rest of the world to hear your response to this. But we talked about your improvement 3-point shooting, and I asked you, I said, do you ever second guess, your the work you put in, or not even the work you put in, but when you're not shooting well in the game, do you ever second guess your work and the improvement? Because you've gone from 28% to 42% from three and shooting with unbelievable confidence. But I asked you, what happens when you're not shooting well one night?
For me, it's a mentality thing. I try not to let my mental go too high or too low. I know the work that I put in every day. I know the work that I put in throughout the summer, the long hours. So there's really no point in me second guessing myself. And for me, I told you before, Vince, as much as I train, physical on the court in the weight room, whatever it is, I train my mental just as much. And that's made the biggest difference for me, I think, being able to train my mental. So, whatever comes my way, I feel like I'm prepared. I'm strong. So for me, the mental aspect of the game is just as important.
Julius, one thing I keep saying about you this season is that you were already such a good basketball player when you came into the NBA. You could have settled for just, okay, I'm going to get a little bit better every year, but I'm basically who I am. And instead, you kept working. You kept trying to change who you could be in this game to improve. That work ethic is something, and I think has really been an example for other guys around the league. So I just wanted to compliment you on that directly, since I'm usually just talking behind your back when you say that. You're not here with us. So really, really, really good work. And also, talking about Kaiden there, the example you've set as a father, does he want to say anything before we go? Would he like to tell America anything?
You want to say anything? You want to say hi or anything? Say hi. Say, say we here.
We here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Julius, thank you so much for joining us today. We really, really appreciate
it. DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, Bridges, Cameron Payne, all of these young guys. And look, we know that they're talented, but when you watch them play on the defensive end, they're boxes and elbows. They're helping the helper. Offensively, they're passing up good shots to get great shots. This Phoenix Suns team is very dangerous. They're well coached, and they are a contender. They're a contender. They are serious.
Yeah, I say both. I mean, it started off as a feel-good story. You think about the bubble, and they won 2 games, and you're like, okay, cool. They won 3, 4, 5 games. Then they go 8 in a row, and you're like, it's unfortunate that they did not get an opportunity to play in the bubble. Then you're like, okay, that was good. What's next? What are we going to see from the Suns? Then they sign CP3. Okay, they can get a little better. Then the season starts, and look where they are now. They are for real. That's why I said they're both. It started off as, oh, it feels good, it looks good, oh, it's a great story, to now, like Perk said, they are contenders. They are for real. They're going to make a lot of noise in the playoffs. And another reason why I think, obviously, CP3 and his experience in the playoffs, but as well as Jay Crowder. And it seems and it feels like these guys are listening to these guys, and they can coach them and guide them where they need to go. And they're going to make mistakes. They're going to make first-time mistake in the playoffs. And as they go farther in the playoffs, they're going to make mistakes, but they're going to make a lot of noise just because of the confidence alone.
Yeah, and look, Vince, championship teams become title winners because they do a lot of different things right. It's never just down to one person, one guy, one way of doing things. You got to give credit in this scenario to Monty Williams, who's just done a fantastic job coaching. You see why Phoenix was so aggressive in going after him when he was also being considered, remember, for the Lakers job at that point? And Phoenix just came in and snatched him up before the Lakers could even really get serious talking to him. Chris Paul, as you guys both note, he is transformative. It's not just what he brings to the equation, it's his effect on the other players. What he has done for Devin Booker, what he has done for DeAndre Ayton. But I want to give those guys credit also, the guys who have been with the Suns for the past few years. They had to step up and change with a new coach coming in when Monty did the previous year, with Chris coming in, and they were willing to do the work. And I think that really is something we haven't talked about as much, but as we have seen with the way those guys have played, has really made a difference too. I am so impressed with them. And Vince, I'm going with your answer. They are both a great story and a great team. And Perk, you are absolutely right. You called it at the beginning of the season. I do want to move on, guys, though, to the Spurs and Wizards, because they played one of the most exciting games and competitive games of the year. 31 lead changes, 20 ties last night. San Antonio won by 3 in overtime. Now, that did snap Washington's 8-game win streak. It's an old school game, right? DeMar DeRozan, 37 points, 0 of those threes because he didn't shoot any threes. He didn't even try. Beal scored 45 points on 0 made threes. He tried a few, but again, didn't make any. Russell Westbrook had his league-leading 29th triple-double of the season, 22 points, 13 rebounds, 14 assists. And here is Russ talking about, well, Russ.
For me, I take pride, like I said, every single night and leaving it all on the floor. I honestly believe there is no player like myself. And if people want to take it for granted, sorry for them. But I'm pretty sure if everybody could do it, they'll do it. I don't care what nobody thinks about it. I take a lot of pride in taking care of my body. I take a lot of pride in competing every night. I don't take nights off. I don't cheat the game.
I say that all the time about Russell Westbrook when people say, oh, those triple doubles don't mean anything anymore. They're so easy in today's game. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it. Vince, do you agree with Russ's comments overall?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna start by saying, yeah, if they were easy, everybody would be doing them. When I look at my stats, I have 5. 5. You understand what I'm saying? He had 5 last week, the last week and a half. You know what I'm saying? So I tell you, I agree with him, man. A lot of people can get triple doubles, but he's doing it on a consistent basis. Like, he wants to win. He's shown he wants to win. He has the will to win. And it's unfortunate that he has not won yet, but you can't question what he brings to the table, what he's trying to accomplish, and his effect on the game. Now, sometimes people don't agree with how he goes about it, but I tell you what, the numbers that he's putting up, there's not a lot of people who have done that. You've seen flashes like, oh, yeah, you've seen some guys do it sometimes. He's doing this every single night. So, yeah, I agree with them, man. I mean, you take it for granted because he makes it look easy. He makes it look easy. There's a lot of guys who go out there can score. There's a lot of guys who go out there and rebound. But putting all 3 together every night, Russell Westbrook.
Here's the thing, right? When I was with the Oklahoma City Thunder playing with Kobe Bryant said after an interview, after we beat them in a playoff game, that Russell Westbrook is a guy that he loved, and he blessed him with the Mamba mentality. Kobe Bryant didn't bless a lot of people with the Mamba mentality, and it's only a few people that I've seen since my playing career and post-playing career that I've witnessed that plays every possession, not every minute, every second, every possession. That's what Russell Westbrook do. We already know, Vince, you know how hard it was because you was a guy that averaged 20 plus in the league. It was hard to do that. And then you take it to another level, it's hard to average just a simple double-double in the league. But for a guy to go out there every single night and average a triple-double, he did it for 3 straight. He did it for 3 straight seasons with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now he's doing it again in his fourth time in his career. In his career, he's going to average a triple-double, and they're winning. Here it is, the start of the season. The Wizards were struggling. They were a lottery team. People were talking about firing Scott Brooks. People didn't know that Russell Westbrook was still hurt. He never complained about it. He said, you know what?